Imagine walking past a dusty old coin jar, unaware that one tiny piece inside could be worth over $500,000. A 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, with no mint mark. Just one of these rare coins recently sold for an astonishing $510,000. Now ask yourself, what if you already own one? Today, we're going to uncover the story behind this rare bicentennial coin, explain why it's so valuable, how you can identify one, and most importantly, how you could be sitting on a life-changing discovery without even realizing it, because the truth is, these coins are hiding in plain sight. And while most people overlook them as common change, a few lucky collectors have cashed in big. Let's dive in before another one slips through your fingers. The year 1976 marked the 200th birthday of the United States, the Bicentennial. To celebrate, the U.S. Mint released special versions of the quarter, dollar, and half-dollar coins. The Kennedy half-dollar from this period is one of the most iconic, but here's where it gets interesting. Most 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollars were mass-produced. They're everywhere. You've probably seen a few in your lifetime. But there's one version that stands out, the no mint mark variety minted in Philadelphia, and it's not just the absence of the mint mark that makes it rare. It's how it was struck, the errors it carries, and the almost flawless condition that a few specimens were preserved in. Some call it a mistake. Others call it a miracle. We call it $1 million opportunity hiding in your drawer. But before we tell you how to identify if you've got one, let's talk about what makes this coin so special, and so incredibly valuable. First, the design. Unlike other Kennedy half-dollars, the bicentennial version features the dual date, 1776 to 1976, and the reverse shows Independence Hall, a powerful symbol of American freedom. But here's the twist, the coins minted in Philadelphia were not supposed to be struck without a mint mark. So when collectors started noticing coins with no P or D marking under Kennedy's neck, it created a buzz. A few numismatists quickly realized something was off, and incredibly valuable. Then came the condition. One specific example, graded MS-69, nearly perfect, shocked the world when it sold for $510,000 at auction. Just think about that. A coin you could have spent on a vending machine snack is now worth more than a luxury house. Now let me ask you a serious question. When was the last time you checked your coin jar? And while you're at it, maybe check your uncle's, your grandmother's, or that old forgotten shoebox in the attic, because the biggest mistake you can make is assuming it's all just spare change. Of course, if you're planning to use your coin collection to pay for your next cup of coffee, stop right there. Unless it's a $500,000 cappuccino, you might want to hold off. Seriously though, many people unknowingly give these coins away at face value, completely unaware of their hidden fortune, and the reason? They just didn't know what to look for. But you will. Let's break it down. So, how can you tell if you've got a valuable 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar? First, flip it over and look for the mint mark. If there's no letter under Kennedy's neck on the obverse side, that's the first sign. Next, examine the condition. A valuable coin must have sharp detail, no scratches, and ideally be uncirculated. If it shines like it was just minted yesterday, you might be onto something huge. Now here's the real cliffhanger. Some of the most valuable versions also show striking errors, like double die obverse or off-center images. These errors are rare, but when they appear in a no-mint mark coin, the value skyrockets. Collectors pay a premium for perfection, and an even higher premium for perfect mistakes. Let that sink in. Now you know the facts. You know the history. And more importantly, you know what to look for. The 1776 to 1976 no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar is more than a coin, it's a financial time capsule. A once forgotten object that now holds the power to change your life. But here's the catch, every day, fewer of these coins remain in the wild. As collectors scoop them up and dealers send them to grading agencies, their availability shrinks, and their value climbs. So the time to act is now. Start by checking your collection. Get a magnifying glass if needed. Look closely at every 1976 Kennedy half-dollar you can find. Reach out to reputable dealers or grading services. If you're unsure, don't sell it cheap. The difference between $5 and $500,000 lies in the details, because one coin, one decision, could be the moment you stop surviving and start living. 10:57 a.m. May 21, 2025. Have you ever held a coin in your hand, and unknowingly held the key to a fortune? Imagine this: a 50-cent coin from 1971, ordinary, worn, maybe buried in your drawer right now, could be worth over $500,000 today. Yes, a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark has sold for as high as $502,000 in auction. Now pause for a moment, and look around your home. Could you be sitting on life-changing wealth without even knowing it? In this video, we'll reveal exactly what makes this specific 1971 Kennedy half-dollar so rare, how you can identify it, why collectors are paying outrageous sums, and most importantly, how you can turn pocket change into a powerful step toward financial freedom. Stick with me to the very end, because I'll also share a lesser-known trait that could multiply the value of your coin even further. Miss that, and you might lose a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's go back to 1971. America had just come out of a decade of turbulence, the Vietnam War was winding down, and the memory of John F. Kennedy's assassination was still fresh in the hearts of millions. That same year, the U.S. Mint released the first copper-nickel-clad Kennedy half-dollar, replacing the previous 40% silver versions. Most of these coins were minted in massive numbers, over 155 million in Philadelphia, hence the absence of a mint mark. But here's where the story takes a twist: while the majority of 1971 Kennedy half-dollars are worth face value, or slightly more if in uncirculated condition, a microscopic group contains rare errors, extraordinary strike quality, or unique features that send their value skyrocketing. Let's talk about one of those coins. A collector recently purchased a 1971 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar for $502,000. Why? It was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet instead of the standard copper-nickel one. Only a few of these coins are known to exist. Their composition, weight, and luster reveal the anomaly, but to the untrained eye, they look just like regular half-dollars. Imagine tossing that into a vending machine. That's the fear, and the excitement. These coins are hiding in plain sight. Now you may be wondering, how do I know if my coin is the one? Great question. Let's break it down, now, before you go flipping over every half-dollar in your sock drawer yelling, "I'm rich." Remember, not all no-mint mark 1971 half-dollars will make you a millionaire. If only we could all be that lucky. Coin collectors would be the new tech billionaires, but seriously, here's how you can tell. First, check the weight. A regular 1971 half-dollar should weigh 11.34 grams. The rare silver era coin, however, weighs around 11.5 grams or slightly more due to the silver composition. Next, examine the edge of the coin. A standard clad coin has a distinct copper line along the rim. The rare silver planchet coins will lack this copper line and appear entirely silver-colored. Also, listen closely, literally. Silver coins have a high-pitched ring when dropped gently on a hard surface. It's a subtle, crisp sound that differs from the dull thud of regular clad coins. Still not sure? Here's a pro tip: get your coin professionally graded. Use trusted third-party services like PCGS or NGC. If your coin is an error variety or has pristine features, its value could explode. Here's where urgency comes in. As more collectors flood the market looking for these rare half-dollars, the competition is heating up. Auction prices are climbing. Demand is outpacing supply. And once these rare coins are found and locked away in private collections, they're gone. What does that mean for you? It means the window of opportunity is shrinking. Every day you delay, someone else finds a coin like yours and sells it. And the odds shift against you. Let me ask you something. Have you ever spent a coin without checking it, just to realize later it might have been valuable? It's like tossing away a winning lottery ticket. Painful, right? Now multiply that by $500,000. Let's talk lifestyle for a moment. Imagine selling a single coin, and paying off your mortgage. Or buying that beach house you always dreamed of. Or funding your kids' college tuition in full. That's not fantasy, it's already happened for someone. You don't have to be a seasoned collector. You don't need a vault or magnifying glasses or a history degree. All you need is curiosity and action. Tonight, pull out your old coin jars, your inherited collections, your forgotten change drawers. Look for the 1971 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark. Weigh it. Check the edge. And if there's even a chance it's one of the rare silver errors, send it for grading immediately. You owe it to yourself to check. Because you're not just looking for a coin. You're looking for a turning point, and if you're thinking, that's probably not me, ask yourself, what if you're wrong? And before we end, here's your cliffhanger. There's another version of the 1971 Kennedy half dollar, extremely rare, even more mysterious, that could be worth even more than $502,000, and most people don't even know it exists. In my next video, I'll reveal what that is and how to find it. Until then, go check your coins. Your future might be sitting in your hand right now. You're digging through an old coin jar in your garage, dusty, forgotten, overlooked, and there it is. A 1973 Kennedy half dollar. No mint mark. Just a coin, right? Think again. That simple piece of metal could be your ticket to unimaginable wealth, because right now, a rare variation of this exact coin is being valued at over $500,000. Yes, you heard that right, $500,000 for one single coin. Now here's the question, do you have one of these sitting at home, unknowingly? Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why collectors are willing to pay such an outrageous price, and how you could cash in before it's too late. Let's dive in. The year was 1973. America was in transition, post-Vietnam tensions, political distrust brewing under the surface, and in the middle of it all, a coin was struck that carried the face of a president taken too soon. The Kennedy half dollar had already become a symbol. A tribute. A reminder. But what makes the 1973 version, specifically the one without a mint mark, so valuable today? Well, here's where it gets interesting. In 1973, Kennedy half dollars were produced only for collector sets, not for general circulation. That means any coin from that year found in pocket change or an old drawer was never supposed to be there. Now, here comes the kicker. Most of these coins were struck in San Francisco for proof sets or in Denver and Philadelphia for mint sets. The Philadelphia coins were the ones without a mint mark. But very few of them made it outside of those sets. So, finding one loose, and in pristine condition, is like stumbling upon a hidden treasure, and just when you think that's rare, listen to this, certain errors in these coins, like double die obverse, planchet flaws, or extremely high-grade specimens, have made collectors lose their minds. Recently, one such 1973 no-mint mark Kennedy half dollar, graded MS 67, shocked the numismatic world when it was appraised at over $500,000 due to its condition, rarity, and historical appeal. But here's where it gets urgent. The market is shifting. Coin values are surging. Investors are scrambling for physical assets with historical value, and rare coins are leading the charge. You might be sitting on something worth a small fortune, without even knowing it. So let me ask, when was the last time you really checked your old coins? Because what if that forgotten jar in your attic is your retirement plan in disguise? Let's be honest, how many times have you tossed a coin in a drawer and thought, maybe it'll be worth something someday? Well, congratulations. That someday might be today, and unlike lottery tickets, this one doesn't lose value after scratching it. In fact, the more you hold on to it, if it's the right coin, the more it could be worth. Now that you know what to look for, it's time to take action. Pull out your old coin collections, ask your parents about their jars of change, search your storage boxes. Look specifically for the 1973 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark, inspect the coin carefully. Look for wear, condition, and uniqueness. If it appears uncirculated or unusually well preserved, consider having it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, because here's the truth, this market doesn't wait. Every year, fewer of these coins remain in top condition. Every month, more collectors enter the scene, raising the stakes and the prices. Don't be the person who finds out too late. Don't let a $500,000 opportunity slip through your fingers because it looked like just another coin. You could be sitting on a forgotten fortune. A single coin could pay off your mortgage, fund your dream vacation, or change your family's financial future forever. The wealthy don't wait for opportunities, they identify them, act on them, and capitalize before the crowd catches on. This is one of those moments that so ask yourself, will you go check that old drawer now, or will you wait, and wonder? Well, what if I told you a simple 1974 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark could be worth nearly $500,000? Yes, a coin you might walk past on the sidewalk, ignore at a garage sale, or even use to pay for coffee, could be your ticket to a six-figure payday. And here's the kicker, some experts believe its value could eventually hit seven figures at auction. So, before you cash in your spare change at the grocery store machine, you'll want to hear this entire story, because hidden in plain sight is a rare coin that most Americans overlook, and it could be sitting in your home right now. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover could change the way you look at your coins forever. Let's rewind to 1974. The United States was in turmoil. The Watergate scandal was unraveling, inflation was climbing, and confidence in leadership was shaky. Amid all this chaos, the U.S. Mint continued producing the Kennedy half-dollar, honoring the late President John F. Kennedy. But something unusual happened in that year. Tens of millions of half-dollars were struck. Most were produced in Philadelphia and Denver. But a select few, a rare handful, had a unique trait. They were struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark, but not just that, some were struck using experimental dies, likely intended for testing purposes only. One of these elusive coins, graded and authenticated, sold for an astonishing $489,000 at auction. That's not a typo. That's nearly $500,000 for a single 50-cent piece. Now, before you rush to your drawer and dump every coin on the table, let's talk details. What makes this coin so valuable? First, it's the error, a rare and nearly impossible to replicate die variety known as the 1974 no mint mark with strong doubled die obverse. Under magnification, collectors can see dramatic doubling in the lettering, especially in the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." This doubling isn't just a minor defect. It's bold. It's clear. And it turns an ordinary coin into a legendary one. Second, it's the grade. The most valuable versions of this coin are in pristine, uncirculated condition. We're talking about coins that look like they were struck yesterday, sharp edges, flawless surfaces, no scratches, no fingerprints. Think your coin looks shiny? It better shine like a mirror under direct light. That's the level of perfection high-end collectors are paying for. And third, this is important, its authenticity. The coin that hit nearly $500,000 was authenticated and graded by a leading third-party grader like PCGS or NGC. Without that certification, no serious buyer will go near your coin. Let me pause for a second with a question. How many of you have ever wondered, what if I threw away something worth a fortune? It's a haunting thought, isn't it? A coin you once used in a vending machine might now be in someone else's safe, listed at auction for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You didn't just lose a coin, you lost a dream vacation, a new car, maybe even a down payment on a house. But here's the good news, it's not too late. In fact, this story gets even more interesting. Let me tell you what's happening right now in the numismatic market. Demand for rare U.S. coins has surged. Wealthy collectors are pouring millions into tangible assets. They're not just buying stocks or NFTs, they're investing in history, in rarity, in coins like the 1974 no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Because every year, coins like this get rarer. They vanish into private collections, locked away in safes, passed down through families. And as they disappear, the value of the few remaining goes up fast. So the question is, what should you do? Start by checking your coins, especially Kennedy half-dollars from 1974. Look for those without any mint mark beneath Kennedy's neck. Examine the words closely. If you spot doubling, get that coin evaluated. Use a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. If it looks promising, send it to a reputable grading company immediately. This could be the single most profitable 5 minutes of your life. And remember, don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't try to make it look better. That will destroy its value. Let the coin tell its story the way it is. Now here's your cliffhanger. There are rumors in the numismatic world that another 1974 no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar, possibly in even better condition, is still out there, sitting unnoticed in someone's change jar. Will it be yours? You'll never know, unless you look. this isn't just about a coin. It's about seizing an opportunity that most people ignore. It's about recognizing the hidden value in the everyday. It's about transforming something ordinary into something extraordinary, because while others are chasing trends, you're chasing treasure. So check your coins. Get them evaluated. And who knows? You might be one coin away from changing your life. I'm not talking about rumors. I'm talking about real auction sales. One such 1977 Kennedy half-dollar, with no mint mark, has recently shocked collectors, selling for a staggering $481,000. That's right. Nearly $500,000. And that's not even the highest possible value. Now pause and ask yourself, what would you do if you discovered one of these coins in your home? Would you sell it? Keep it? Or maybe even wonder how it ended up being worth so much in the first place? Well, today we're diving deep. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin special, what to look for, and why it could make you rich beyond your wildest expectations. So don't blink. Because if you miss a single detail, you might miss your million-dollar moment. Let's begin. The year was 1977. Gas was cheap, Elvis had just left the building, and millions of Kennedy half-dollars were being struck by the U.S. Mint. Most were ordinary, worth 50 cents then and 50 cents now, but a few, a very few, came out different. They had no mint mark. No tiny D for Denver. No S for San Francisco, not even a P for Philadelphia, which, by the way, typically didn't mark its coins back then, but 1977 was a strange year. Some of these half-dollars lacked a mint mark entirely because of rare die errors, or transitional planchet mistakes. And this small detail, or lack of it, has turned these otherwise common coins into extremely rare collectibles. Now here's where things get even more interesting. These no mint mark 1977 Kennedy half-dollars started showing up at auctions. At first, nobody could believe the bids. $5,000. $10,000. Then came one that left everyone speechless. $481,000, let that sink in. A 50-cent coin. Sold for the price of a luxury house. Are you starting to feel your heartbeat rise just a little? You should. Because this isn't just history. It's happening right now, in the coin market, but what makes these coins worth so much? Let's break it down. First, rarity. Only a tiny handful of these coins were ever made. Second, condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins that are uncirculated, with no scratches or wear, are the ones that explode at auction. And third, verified errors or anomalies. These are not your average pocket change. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute. I've seen some 1977 Kennedy half-dollars in my change jar. Could one of them be worth this much? Great question. Let's talk about how to identify a true winner. Start by examining the obverse, that's the front, of the coin. Look closely under Kennedy's neck. Do you see a mint mark? If it's missing, you might have something special, but not so fast. Some coins can lose their mint mark from excessive wear or damage. That's not valuable. What you're looking for is a clean, original, no mint mark strike, untouched, uncirculated, with sharp details. Still unsure? Here comes your first power move. Send it for professional grading. Services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade. This is crucial. A coin graded MS 67 or higher. That's where the money starts to roar. Remember, collectors aren't just buying metal. They're buying perfection, history, and a story. Speaking of stories, here's a funny one. A man in Texas once paid for his coffee using a Kennedy half-dollar he'd had since the 70s. The barista liked the old design and tossed it into her tip jar. Weeks later, she noticed it had no mint mark. She sent it for grading. The result? Almost $500,000 in her bank account that he got a coffee. She got a house. Still think your change jar isn't worth looking through? Let's move deeper. Now you know what to look for, you know the value, you know the risks of ignoring what could be your life's most valuable possession. But here's the real takeaway. This isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. It's about being awake to the possibility that wealth is not always locked away in banks or stocks. Sometimes, it's in your closet. Your attic. Your old piggy bank. If you're holding on to 1970s Kennedy half dollars, it's time to take action. Inspect them. Get them graded. Do the research. Because the people who take the first step are always the ones who discover the gold, and here's the truth most people don't want to hear: the coin market is booming, but only for those who pay attention. The ones who ignore this? They'll keep tossing away fortunes, one coin at a time, but not you. You're still here, which means you're already ahead of the game. So here's your challenge: check every 1977 Kennedy half dollar UOWN.NO mint mark. Pristine condition. Send it for grading immediately. This might be the moment that changes your financial life forever, and if you're wondering what other coins could hold this kind of value, make sure you don't miss our next video, where we reveal 3 more half-dollar coins that collectors are fighting over right now. One of them just crossed the $1 million mark. Yes. $1 million. So don't just collect coins. Collect opportunities, because sometimes, wealth doesn't knock, sometimes, it jingles quietly, in your pocket. That's right. The 1992 Kennedy half dollar with a tiny D mint mark, something most people overlook, is making waves in the coin collecting world, recently hitting a staggering $473,000 in market value. Sounds insane, doesn't it? But here's the truth: this isn't a fairy tale. It's a ticking clock, because every day, people are unknowingly spending or giving away coins that could change their lives forever. And if you're not checking your collection, you might be one of them. Now let me ask, have you ever looked at your old coins and wondered if you're holding treasure? Today, we're going to dive deep into the hidden world of the 1992 D Kennedy half dollar. Why it's so valuable. What makes it different? And how you can tell if the one in your possession is worth thousands, or even millions. Stick around until the end, because I'm going to reveal a surprising truth about one particular 1992 coin that sold for nearly $500,000. And the one microscopic detail that made it happen. You'll want to pause your day for this. Because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself holding a fortune. Let's begin. To understand the value of the 1992 Kennedy half dollar, we need to go back, way back, to the reason these coins exist in the first place. After President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, America was shaken. In his honor, the U.S. Mint began issuing half-dollar coins bearing his likeness in 1964. It was more than currency. It was a symbol of remembrance, unity, and hope. Fast forward to 1992. The Denver Mint produced Kennedy half dollars as usual. But in the shadows of mass production, a rare error was born. This coin, bearing the D Mint mark for Denver, wasn't just another piece of metal. Somewhere during production, a small number of these coins were struck with what collectors now call a proof reverse. This means the back of the coin had a mirror-like finish, a trait that should never appear on a standard Denver Mint strike. Now here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't noticed at first. For years, these coins slipped through the cracks, passed between hands, spent and forgotten, until one collector spotted something strange. The fields were shinier. The details were crisper. And when sent for grading, it came back as a 1992 D Kennedy half dollar with a proof reverse. Collectors were stunned. Dealers were scrambling. The coin sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then the floodgates opened. People across the country began checking their 1992 D half dollars. A handful more were discovered, but they were extremely rare. Think about it, millions of coins struck, but only a few carry this minting error. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Except this needle is worth nearly $500,000. Imagine this. You're going through a jar of old coins from your grandfather's collection. You pull out a dull half dollar from 1992 and set it aside. It feels heavier. The shine is different. You look closer, and just maybe, you've got one of those elusive proof reverse errors. You wouldn't throw away a winning lottery ticket, would you? Then why are people throwing away these coins every single day? Let me pause here and ask, when was the last time you checked the year and mint mark on your half dollars? Exactly. Most people don't. But now you know better, and if you're wondering how to tell the difference, don't worry, we'll get there. But first, a quick break. Ever wonder how the mint manages to mess this up and still sleep at night? Well, mistakes like these happen during transitions or maintenance. One proof die accidentally used at the Denver Mint was all it took. That tiny slip created a multi-$100,000 opportunity for you. Let's talk real value now. In 2023, one of these rare 1992 D. Kennedy half dollars with a proof reverse sold for $473,000 at a major auction. Why such a high price? Because rarity drives value. Combine a popular design, historical backstory, and a minting mistake, and you've got a collector's dream. But here's the twist: these coins are still out there. Somewhere. In change jars. In old wallets. In inherited coin collections that haven't been touched in decades, which brings us to the urgency. Every year, more of these coins disappear forever. Spent. Lost. Melted. You might be holding one and not even know it. So here's what you do. Find your 1992 Kennedy half dollars. Flip them over. Look for the D mint mark. Now study the reverse. Is the field mirror-like? Are the design elements sharper than usual? If so, do not sell it to a pawn shop. Get it professionally graded immediately. It could be the most profitable decision you've ever made. Remember, most people will live their whole lives never knowing they passed up on a coin worth a fortune, but you? You're smarter than that. You're here because you want more. Financial freedom. The ability to turn your collection into something that supports your dreams. Maybe even retire earlier than you thought. So don't let this moment pass you by. Check your coins. Search your drawers. Ask your relatives. Look again, because somewhere out there, a 1992 Kennedy half dollar is waiting to change someone's life. And if you're lucky, it could be yours. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more rare coin discoveries that could help you build lasting wealth from your collection, and tell me in the comments, have you ever found a valuable coin? Or are you just starting your journey? Either way, the hunt begins now, because treasure isn't always buried. Sometimes, it's just sitting in your pocket.
Have you ever checked your loose change and wondered if one of your coins might be worth more than face value? What if I told you that a simple 50-cent piece from 1974 with no mint mark could be a hidden treasure in your coin jar? That's right. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is more than just a coin. It's a piece of American history, a collector's favorite, and in some rare cases, a potential jackpot. Stay with me as we uncover the story, the hidden value, and what makes this coin a must-have for every serious collector. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, just months after President John F. Kennedy's tragic assassination. It was minted as a tribute to the beloved president and quickly became a symbol of national unity and remembrance. Americans embraced the coin immediately, often hoarding it as a keepsake. By 1974, the coin was in its 10th year of production, and while millions were struck, certain varieties, especially those without a mint mark, have gained a reputation among collectors. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark for proof coins. But today we're zooming in on the no mint mark version, struck in Philadelphia. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark isn't necessarily rare in terms of quantity. In fact, over 201 million were minted in Philadelphia. However, value isn't always about rarity. It's about demand, condition, and historical appeal. Circulated coins in average condition typically go for around 50 cents to $1, but uncirculated or high-grade specimens, especially those graded MS65 or higher, can sell for $10 to $50 or more. In some cases, coins with exceptional luster or near-perfect surfaces have fetched even higher prices at auction. Collectors also value this coin because of the cultural significance of the Kennedy series, its bold design, and its place in American numismatic history. Now here's the part seasoned collectors pay close attention to: errors and rare variations. One of the most notable error types associated with the 1974 Kennedy half dollar is the double die obverse, DDO. This error occurs when the coin die strikes the coin twice at slightly different angles, causing a doubling effect, most visible in the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Coins with a strong DDO can be worth hundreds of dollars, depending on the grade. These are rare, but they're out there, and they often go unnoticed by casual observers. Another thing to look for is planchet errors, coins struck on the wrong metal composition. While not officially confirmed for the 1974 no-mint mark version, error collectors always keep an eye out for off-metal strikes or clashed dies that slipped through quality control. If you're hoping to add a 1974 no-mint mark Kennedy half dollar to your collection, or evaluate one you already have, here are a few tips. Inspect for doubling. Use a 10x jeweler's loupe to examine "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Look for sharp, distinct doubling, not just coin wear. Check the condition. Coins are graded from 1 to 70 on the Sheldon scale. A coin in MS-65 or above is where the real value starts to show. Handle with care. Always hold your coin by the edges. Oils from your fingers can damage the surface. Store properly. Use acid-free holders or certified coin slabs to preserve condition and value over time. Verify authenticity. If you believe you have a DDO or other error, consider submitting it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for confirmation and encapsulation. So, the next time you come across a 1974 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, don't overlook it. That humble piece of change could be a collector's gem, especially if it hides a rare error or is in mint state condition. The Kennedy half dollar is more than just a coin. It's a tribute, a legacy, and sometimes a small fortune waiting to be discovered. If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on valuable coin insights. And if you found a Kennedy half dollar or have a coin story to share, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep checking your change. You never know what treasure you might find. Did you know a coin in your pocket change from 1980 could be worth far more than 50 cents? The 1980 D Kennedy half dollar might seem common at first glance, but there are secrets hidden in plain sight. Errors, rare variations, and collector demand that can turn this coin into a prized possession. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of America's most iconic coins. What makes the 1980 D Kennedy half dollar special, what to look for, and how to preserve it for future value. Let's start with a little history. The Kennedy half dollar was first issued in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans were eager to honor their fallen leader, and the U.S. Mint responded by fast-tracking the coin's design and release. It replaced the Franklin half dollar and quickly became a symbol of national remembrance. Fast forward to 1980, and the Kennedy half dollar had become a staple of American coinage. But unlike the early silver issues, the 1980 coins were struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, making them more suitable for circulation and everyday use. The D mint mark you'll find on this coin tells us it was minted in Denver, one of the 3 primary U.S. mint facilities operating at the time. In total, the Denver Mint struck over 33.5 million Kennedy half dollars in 1980. But despite the high mintage, not all of them are created equal, and that's where things get interesting. At face value, the 1980 D Kennedy half dollar is, of course, worth 50 cents. But for collectors, condition is king. In circulated condition, these coins typically sell for their face value or slightly more. But in uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS-65 or higher by PCGS or NGC, the value can jump to $5, $10, or even $20, depending on market demand. And here's the real treasure: error coins. Some 1980 Kennedy half dollars were struck with planche errors, off-center strikes, or even double dies. Errors caused by misalignment or duplication during the minting process. These flaws may sound like mistakes, but to collectors they're gold. A double die obverse, for example, where the date or lettering appears slightly doubled, can fetch significantly higher prices at auction, especially if the error is dramatic and the coin is in top condition. Keep your eyes open for clipped planches, where part of the coin appears cut or missing, die cracks or cuds struck through errors, where foreign material interfered during striking. Some of these coins have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars depending on rarity and condition. If you're looking to collect or invest in the 1980 Kennedy half dollar, here are a few. Professional tips: inspect the coin closely. Use a 10x jeweler's loupe or a digital microscope to look for doubling on the lettering, unusual marks, or striking errors. Check the edges. Authentic 1980 coins will have a reeded edge with no visible copper core. If you see unusual coloring or separation, it could be an error or a fake. Preservation is key. Store your coins in a non-PVC plastic flip, or better yet, a slabbed holder from a trusted grading company. Keep them in a dry, temperature-controlled environment away from sunlight. Know the market. Coin values fluctuate. Keep an eye on auctions, dealer sites, and collector forums to stay informed on what your coin might be worth. Always authenticate. If you suspect you have a rare error or high-grade specimen, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication can dramatically increase the coin's market value. The 1980 Kennedy half dollar might just be sitting unnoticed in your collection or your change jar. With a bit of knowledge, a careful eye, and the right preservation strategy, what seems like a common coin could become a collector's gem, where we uncover the fascinating stories behind America's most sought-after coins. Today, we're diving deep into the 1983 Kennedy half dollar struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a coin that may look common but holds surprising value in the world of numismatics. The Kennedy half dollar series began in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was designed as a tribute to honor the fallen president and has remained in circulation ever since. The 1983 Kennedy half dollar was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was not producing these coins for general circulation. From 1980 to 1986, Kennedy half dollars were struck mainly for collectors and special sets. However, a limited number were released into circulation in 1983 due to increased demand from banks and the public. Here's where it gets interesting. 1983 was a low production year compared to other modern coins, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, which used the P mint mark. There are a few reasons this coin stands out. No mint sets in 1982 and 1983. The U.S. Mint did not produce standard mint sets for these 2 years. That means most 1983 Kennedy half dollars entered circulation and were subjected to wear and tear, making high-grade examples much harder to find today. Condition sensitivity. Because these coins weren't set aside for collectors, finding one in MS65, Mint State 65, or higher is a real challenge. In fact, coins graded MS66 or MS67 can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. Collector demand. As more people collect by date and mint mark, the 1983 P. Kennedy half has become a key date for anyone building a complete set. Its rarity in high grades adds to its value. Now let's talk about what can make this coin even more valuable. Errors. Double die obverse. DDO. Look closely at the lettering, especially "In God We Trust." Doubling here can significantly boost the coin's value. Off-center strikes. Coins struck off-center by more than 10% are highly collectible and can sell for a premium. Clipped planches. Part of the coin may be missing due to a minting error. This makes the coin both rare and desirable. If you find one of these errors, especially in uncirculated condition, you could be holding a coin worth several $100s, or even more. If you're serious about collecting the 1983 P. Kennedy half dollar, here are a few expert tips. Look for high grades. Focus on coins with minimal scratches, strong luster, and sharp details. Use a 5x or 10x magnifier to examine the coin's surfaces. Use proper storage. Always store your valuable coins in non-PVC flips or airtight capsules to prevent oxidation and toning. Consider grading. If you believe your coin is in MS65 or higher, consider submitting it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can significantly increase its resale value. Buy from reputable sources. If purchasing online or at coin shows, make sure the seller is credible. Counterfeits are rare, but it's always better to be cautious. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half dollar from 1983 with a P mint mark, don't dismiss it. It might just be one of the most underrated treasures in your collection. The 1990 Kennedy half dollar with the P mint mark might seem like just another coin in your pocket change. But think again. Today, we're uncovering the hidden value, rare variations, and collectible power behind this often overlooked coin. If you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about the treasures hiding in plain sight, this is a video you don't want to miss. The Kennedy half dollar series began in 1964, created in honor of President John F. Kennedy following his assassination in 1963. The coin quickly became a symbol of national mourning and pride. By 1990, the Kennedy half dollar had evolved in both composition and mintage practices. The 1990 Kennedy half dollar struck at the Philadelphia Mint bears the P mint mark, located just above the date on the obverse side of the coin. This coin was struck in a copper nickel-clad composition, not silver, and had a mintage of over 20 million pieces. While it may not seem rare at first glance, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. In circulated condition, a standard 1990 Kennedy half dollar with the P mint mark is usually worth around 50 cents to $1. But here's where it gets interesting. Uncirculated specimens, especially those graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC, can sell for $10 to $30 or more depending on demand and eye appeal. If you come across a proof-like finish, even from business strike coins, that can drive up the value even further. Additionally, full strike coins, where all details, particularly the hair on Kennedy's profile and the eagle's feathers on the reverse, are sharply defined, are in high demand among collectors. Now, let's talk about the real gems, the rare errors and varieties that make this coin a must-have for serious collectors. Off-center strikes. Coins struck off-center can range in value from $50 to over $100, depending on how dramatic the error is. Double die obverse, DDO. Though not widely confirmed for the 1990 P. Kennedy half dollar, any doubling of the lettering or Kennedy's profile should be authenticated. If you suspect you have one, consider sending it to a reputable grading service. It could be worth hundreds. Clipped planchets. These coins have a portion of the metal missing due to a misfeed in the minting process. Values vary, but unique shapes can fetch premiums. No FG initials. The initials FG on the reverse stand for Frank Gasparo, the coin's reverse designer. If these are missing due to a die fill or grease error, you're looking at another valuable find. Always inspect your coins with a magnifier under good lighting. Small differences can make a big impact on value. If you're collecting the 1990 Kennedy half dollar, here are a few essential tips. Condition is key. Look for coins with minimal wear, strong luster, and no major contact marks. Store properly. Use coin flips or archival safe capsules to protect them from oxidation and physical damage. Get it graded. If you believe you have a high grade or error specimen, professional grading can dramatically increase its market value. Buy from trusted sources. Whether it's eBay, coin shows, or local shops, ensure you're dealing with reputable sellers. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half dollar from 1990 with that tiny P mint mark, don't overlook it. You might just be holding a hidden treasure that other collectors would love to have in their collection. If you found this video helpful or learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a coin worth money. And don't forget to drop a comment below. Let us know if you've ever found a rare Kennedy half dollar.